Welcome to Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, where we feature entrepreneurs and enterprise leaders who participate in our guest blog on shareyourstories.online. Our guest today is Kristi Stangeland, who is a specialist in both NLP and Feng Shui, with a mission to help busy entrepreneurs go from striving to thriving. Kristi's going to share her thoughts on how wellness contributes to our business success, and she joins us today from Toronto, Ontario. Welcome.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
You know, Kristi, like all of us, we had a corporate life before we started on this entrepreneurial journey. So you left your job as a CFO quite some time ago, and you've been, I guess people would describe you as a serial entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Now, you've made a connection at some point along the way between wellness and business success. So how did you come about to that conclusion?
Yes, that's such a great question. So when I left corporate, I wanted to start my own business, but I just had no idea what it was. And I read a book, I think it was on creativity, that said, just be quiet for 3 minutes or 5 minutes. And when I started that, it was excruciating. I was like, I'm a type A person. I was thinking what I needed to be doing, right? Yeah. But I'm also tenacious. And I was like, I really want to figure out what my next step is. And so that was kind of the very beginning of a meditation practice. I didn't know it at the time, but that was how it started. And then I actually started a web design firm in 2000, before, Google was even a verb.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah. That's really interesting because I read in your bio that you've now clocked, is it 250,000 minutes in meditation?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And, when you've been doing it over a long period of time, and now I'm at the point where I meditate once, in the morning, always first thing. And then in the afternoon, it's kind of my break, my, reboot, shall we say, to continue on for the afternoon.
So how did you get started? Because, I have to admit, being a type A personality as well, I remember, the first time I had corporate burnout, you're sitting in the doctor's office and they say, well, one of the things that you can do is meditate. And I'm like rolling my eyes going, are you kidding me? Meditate? I've been going at Mach 2 with my hair on fire. How the heck do I meditate? So, there were little things that I tried along the way. And I must admit, I still don't have the bandwidth to meditate for 60 minutes like you do, but share with us some of the tips that you started to use to sort of get comfortable with the whole idea of meditation.
Yes. And so what I love to say is that I didn't even think I was meditating at the very beginning, 20 plus years ago. And that was such a blessing because it's like I was just sitting there quietly. And it went from, 3 minutes to 5 minutes to 10 minutes. And I found that then I started to crave it. So it was becoming a habit. And that is what I really recommend to people. Yeah, I think that's kind of a problem that people have now is they have all these preconceived notions about meditation and what it should be and how they shouldn't be having thoughts. And they have to sit down for 60 minutes. And it's like, no, you want your body to be craving it because then you're going to do it.
Right. Right. My word for this year is peaceful. So I'm going to try to tap into your suggestion about meditation and try to expand the time that I try to sit and be peaceful and see whether or not I can maybe do that 3 o'clock, when we're all looking for that 3 o'clock fix. If I can include that maybe 3 to 5 minutes of meditation to try to get the reboot.
Right.
Now, how did you become involved in Feng Shui? Because this isn't that, I must admit, I'm a little ignorant about the whole practice of Feng Shui. I do understand that there's a connection between the environment in which we live, work, and play, and the positioning of not only us as beings within that environment, but the things that we love. So how does Feng Shui help us in business?
How does Feng Shui help us in business? Well, the Feng Shui program that I went to was a 3-year program. And I didn't realize at the time when I signed up for it, it was one of those, like I went to the intro class And my heart just said, you've got to sign up for this program. And I came
Fantastic.
home and
That's so fantastic.
I said to my husband, this makes absolutely no sense, but I just have to do it. And lo and behold, it had a lot of meditation as part of the
Really?
Feng Shui, which dovetailed perfectly with me.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was started by Professor Lin Yun, who came from China to San Francisco. And his feeling was your energy is the most important thing. And so so it really ties back to the meditation.
Right.
But as far as the feng shui, where a lot of people think of it as the objects that you have and where they're placed, they're supporting your energy. That's how you need to really think about it.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's really helpful. Now, would you go to someone's home or to someone's office and sort of help them with the placement of some of these things so that the energy is flowing better?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I do consultations. And it's also, what story is an object telling you? And that's where
Ah,
it can get very interesting.
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, say as an example, you had something that was handed down from you as a family heirloom, and for
Right.
whatever reason, you've decided to keep that object
Yes.
because it speaks to you in some sort of way.
Yeah.
So, is there a connection between the object that may be in your home and where it's found and why you feel so connected to it?
Absolutely. And because it's your subconscious mind, I think a lot of feng shui really is going back to that subconscious mind of what is this, even though, the wonderful thing about feng shui is that with someone coming in, it's a fresh set of eyes.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'll come in and I'll see a piece of artwork and I'll be like, oh my goodness, this piece of artwork is not telling a good story to this person, but they're oblivious to it because it's been hanging there forever and they haven't really thought about it. And all I have to say is, let's talk about this piece of art. One woman was like, oh my gosh, I've got to move that, or I've got to get rid of it. And I was like, you don't have to get rid of it. Just let's not have it in such a prominent place.
Wow, I don't think we really make the connection between our space and our energy, right?
Yeah, no, we don't. And
Like,
that's why it's great to have another person come in.
yeah, for sure. Because, I must admit that there's lots of times when, you may even, we'll use meditation as a great example, because I think you need to have the right environment in which to meditate, to tap into that silence, if that's one of the things that you use to meditate, because otherwise you're not going to get anything out of it.
Right, right. Although I would say to that is that I think in the beginning when you're trying to, create a habit with meditation, it's important. But part of the practice is meditate. I don't know. I don't remember who the quote was from, but meditating in a boiler room. you know.
Really? Wow.
So it's being able to find that calm
Right.
amongst the chaos.
Right. Right. And I mean, certainly right now, we're all experiencing enough challenges in our own environment. There's hybrid workspaces where some of us are working from home, other people are going into the office and they're don't have the routine that they used to have. So is meditation something that you can use to try to ground yourself for a sense of calm, calm in the storm, so to speak?
Oh, absolutely. And I would say that was the first thing I noticed. As I said, I didn't really notice I had a meditation practice, but or even looking for benefits, right? Because I didn't know. But at some point, as I started to come into my awareness, I realized that my mother-in-law wasn't pushing my buttons anymore.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
And
That's
she was
very
able
cool.
to, how family members are kind of
Oh, yeah,
able to
for
like
sure.
they
For
know
sure.
exactly where to go. And I was just able to kind of stand back and say, that's an interesting comment that she's making to me right now.
That's very cool, because you know what, I think we all have somebody in our business or personal life that, as you say, pushes the buttons.
Right.
And unfortunately, sometimes we do a knee-jerk jerk reaction where, we
Yes.
step back later and go, why the heck did I let that happen? I
Yeah.
don't feel very good about this. And it kind of spirals your day into not a very good place. So
Right.
that's a really wonderful comment that, I heard somebody say to me once that they meditate in the car at a stoplight. If they're feeling stressed out,
Right.
and they just take that, 30 seconds to kind of center themselves and
Right.
use their practice to kind of get themselves in a better headspace so that they can turn the dynamics of their day around.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I do like to be careful about telling people to meditate in their car.
In the car, yeah. When you're on the move.
Yeah, but I did hear a great comment just this week of, if you're at that stoplight, the red stoplight, and you're sitting there, I gotta go. It's just looking at the light and getting into a meditative mood with the light, and all of a sudden you might not even want it to turn green. But if you're just like, doing some relaxing breaths. So.
Now tell me, I know that you've just launched or you've just published your first book.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the title of your book and the content of your book, and maybe you can show us the cover.
I would love to show you the cover. Embrace each day with peace and calm.
Wow.
And it's a simple guide to meditation for busy women. So my whole thought with this, it's exercises that you can just turn the page and say, okay, I'm going to do this one today or this month. And it's simple things, and some of it intuitively people do, but it's great reminders. And it has been it's really, I published it right before the holidays, and there were some women that bought it for their clients, sent it out to 100 clients. I mean, it hit cool. Yes, hit number 1 on Amazon, one of the bestseller lists. So very happy for how it just, went
organically
viral.
Took off.
Yes.
So tell me, what were some of the, because I know there are a lot of folks in our viewing and listening audience who may be in the same position as yourself, where they've either just finished a book and they're getting ready to launch. And to hear somebody say that your book went viral on Amazon is really quite amazing. So was there a tactic or a marketing technique or something that you did in order to try to gain awareness for the book?
There is definitely a technique to it. And I don't remember, I went off and found somebody who was a specialist in it and watched a couple of his videos on how exactly to do it. I didn't want to do the, I'm sure many of us have seen, like, for $0 you can get the Kindle version. I mean, I didn't go that route.
Right.
But yeah, there are some techniques to it, that's for sure.
Well, I think that what's really interesting about your book, and I certainly hope that, maybe we'll do a book exchange, because I'll send you my book on mentorship and you can send me your book on meditation.
Love it.
I think one of the things that is really intriguing about your book is that it's not intended to be something that you sort of have to digest all in one read, right? You can sort of pick it up again and again and use some of the tools in your daily practice.
Yes.
Probably to help people reconnect and find sort of their flow with meditation.
Yes. And to just do some techniques of letting go of stress. So there is one of the exercises called Letting Go is all about, taking some time to write down all the things that on your to-do list, then taking time to be quiet, to be silent, to be in meditation, and then to come back to the list. And I did it with a group right before the holidays, a very busy time with lots of to-do lists. And people were so grateful. They loved the exercise.
Well, I'm sure sometimes it makes us rethink whether or not the importance of some of the items on the list. So that's really a great tip for us all to use throughout the year, for sure.
Absolutely. Do I care about this?
Right.
Does it need to happen? Who can I delegate it to? I mean, there are a lot of questions to just ask.
For sure. Now, one of the things that we do in our guest blog is we ask each entrepreneur to share 3 words of advice. And your 3 words of advice are enjoy the silence.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about why? I mean, clearly it's based on the meditative practice, but how do people enjoy the silence?
Well, so for me, because there are so many different meditation techniques out there, the idea of the silent meditation is very, very daunting for people. And, they're worried about thoughts, but that's just part of the whole meditation process. And for me, going silent are the times that I get the greatest inspiration. That is when those real ahas come into play. It's a time when I can, all of a sudden somebody will pop to mind and I'll say, oh my gosh, I got to contact that person today. And then something absolutely magical happens when I do that. And so, you were talking about how to get into a meditation practice, and it's like 3 minutes of silence. That's it. And who can deny that?
That's
Just get
very
up
true.
3 minutes early, have that silence, and be okay with it.
You know what? I really want to thank you for spending some time with us today, because what a wonderful way for our viewing and listening audience. What a great takeaway and I really love your connection between enjoying the silence and the magic moments, because that's really what the purpose of meditation is all about, is to not only give us an opportunity to regroup and reboost, but how lovely that there are magical moments that come out of silence. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, you are very welcome. I love spreading that word. Those 3 words.
So to our viewing and listening audience, I'd like to thank you for joining us today in this edition of Keeping It Real, where we introduce you to the person behind the logo. And if you're interested in sharing your business story, visit our website, shareyourstories.online, and introduce us to your great idea. I'm Trish Tonai, founder and host for the series, and I thank you for joining us. Thank you so much to Kristi for sharing her words of wisdom. We look forward to meeting you soon and sharing your story.